Hello, lovely friends. This is Ina Moin here from Las Vegas. Welcome to Ina's Rawsome Monday. I am back today here from my house, and as you can see, even Las Vegas gets a little chilly. That's why I'm wearing today my favorite animal rescue fleece. Yeah, right here in the house. Want to stay cozy, right? So, like probably many of you, we will be traveling for the holidays, and I thought there is no better time than sharing with you some of my travel tips, because my husband and I, we tend to travel a lot throughout the year, and we also travel usually for the holidays. So I want to share with you a couple of ideas how you can actually stay healthy while traveling. And that for many of us is a problem, because particularly during the holidays, you know, there's different eating habits, different temptations, probably lots of alcohol, much richer foods, the sweets are coming in. And yes, it's not just the pounds that we're gaining along with the beautiful travel experiences and heartfelt moments. It's also potentially bugs and things that could linger and become nasty little things over time. So it's rather easy actually to stay healthy while you travel. And it can be just around the corner to another state or a different city, or it can be actually overseas. And overseas is probably a little bit more interesting and also a little bit more challenging, because you are dealing with different time zones and different cultures and languages and all new foods, etc., etc. But what I'm going to share with you today is basically globally applicable. So no matter how far you're going, and assuming that you already know how to deal with your jet lag, let's start with that here real quick. My free tips for healthy jet lag if you are traveling into different time zones. So first of all, you want to make sure that you eat very lightly before getting on the plane, during the flight, and also after coming off the flight. That is key. Do not burden your system, because your body will regenerate and realign with the new time zone and the new climate and temperatures much better if you do not actually eat a big meal. Secondly, do not consume alcohol during travel or before. That's really going to burden your system while you travel. And thirdly, just as a few getaways, try to really sleep, and try to sleep in a way that you're already getting into the new time zone. So when you're on the plane, shut yourself off, get your mask, get your headphones, maybe take melatonin if that helps you to shut the world off, and try to sleep. When we go to Europe, for example, we usually arrive in the morning or just about midday, and obviously that's a really long day ahead. So we'll be napping maybe for about an hour or so after arrival, and then we are actually good for the rest of the day. We have a normal sleep at night in their time zone, and then we're generally good to go the day after arrival. That also means do not make big plans on your arrival day, because you probably need that one day to actually adjust to your time zone. Yeah. Now, as we're talking about jet lag, it also is a good idea for travel overall. So when you travel, to stay healthy, make sure you get enough sleep. I know for many of us that's hard to do, because you want to see so much, you're going to a great place, so you're excited, but less is more. Because first of all these beautiful things that you're going to discover are much more exciting when you can actually enjoy them. So don't try to do everything within a week. Don't travel every single day to another city or to another place, because after all, vacation or any kind of travel should mean that we're leaving the stresses behind, right? So don't create a new stress, which is the travel stress and the must do this and must do that. We had a habit that we wanted to pack as much as possible into our holiday, but we actually pulled back and took only the highlights that we absolutely had to see, and just kept the rest of the agenda really open. And that helped us really enjoying more of our time when we travel, regardless where it is. It also helped us making new friends, doing impromptu things, actually accepting invitations to people's homes, because we didn't have plans all the time. So sleep as much as you can, rest yourself, pace yourself while traveling. And I know that's hard for you guys to do potentially during the holidays, but it is really important. Now, for your exercise routine, if you are in a habit of exercising, you don't have to give that up during travel. So what you can do is you're just changing your exercise around a lot. Consider that. You probably will be walking a lot more than you usually do, especially if you travel overseas, because the likeliness is that you are going to be walking a whole lot more when you go anywhere overseas than what you usually do in the USA. Because we don't walk a lot out here, right? We use the car for everything. So that walking, which is also the best way to explore a new place, is what keeps you healthy. It can literally replace your usual exercise routine. But I'm not going to stop there. I really like to make it a point to earn my sinful meal, my extra cocktail on the beach or whatever it is. So I still make it a point to get in a run if the weather allows in your location, or to hit the gym in the hotel. And it doesn't need to be a full routine. It can be just like a 15-minute cardio or a 15-minute yoga session. And by the way, if none of that applies in your location, just go and grab, either have a travel yoga mat, or just go use a bathroom towel from the place where you are, and do some stretching and yoga exercises in your hotel room, because you can really exercise with your own body. You do not need machines. You don't need equipment. You don't necessarily need to go outside. Just go, start stretching, start breathing, start every day with a good breathing exercise, so that your immune system gets activated, and do not skip out on that exercise, whatever it is. If you can walk around much, beautiful. And if you don't have a lot of walking to do, if you stay within the United States and you'll be driving and sitting a lot, get that exercise in. Your body will love it. And particularly if you travel, did you know that a lot of our immune system is being activated from movement? Now, not only that, we only create new nerve cells when we're moving. So given that we might be eating a little bit more fatty foods, drinking a little bit more alcohol, basically numbing us a little bit more, having all these cheerful parties, and killing a lot of brain cells in the process. But you can take care that you are recreating these wonderful nerve cells, and that your body isn't missing out, because our immune system gets activated by movement. So don't miss out on the movement. Traveling is not an excuse for not moving. And that pizza and that extra glass of red wine or mom's cherry pie is tasting so much better if you do just a gentle exercise every day. Yeah. The next thing I would like to recommend is absolutely be sure that one meal of your travel experience is still a healthy meal. So if you already have a healthy routine at home, chances are, like in my case when I travel, we are not necessarily eating a lot of healthy foods. Depending on the location, we love to engage in the cuisine of the location. We love to try new things. We love to try everything that the beautiful culture is offering, and not necessarily go for health food stores all day long. That would be nice, but heck, I'm not perfect either, right? So what I try to do is to stay at least with one meal healthy, and that is usually breakfast. Before we hit the road to go for restaurants, for lunch and dinner, or any kind of a little bit more heavy homemade meals, we make sure that our breakfasts are light. So how do you do that while you travel? You can carry a travel shaker. They're very easy. They're just about that high, and they have a little shaking ball in the middle. And if you have good water, access to good water, and just a shake in a small pouch or a couple small pouches, you can easily make your healthy shake in the hotel room every morning. Or just hit a grocery store close by, assuming that you do your research ahead of time before you travel, or just ask the locals upon arrival, where is the next opportunity to get some fruits and maybe some vegetables. As Shada is watching, she will love me to mention vegetables for breakfast, because that is definitely the best thing you can do for your body, not only during traveling, but at all times in your life. So once you have the habit of starting to eat or mix vegetables and fruits into your breakfast, you're going to become addicted to this good habit. And that also keeps you healthy if you manage to make one meal light every day during your travels. You're not going to gain all these pounds. You're not going to be regretting all the beautiful cake and joyful pizza, pasta, and whatever wonderful things you are gorging yourself with. And that usually works quite nicely. I also carry a couple of really good snack bars. So just in case we're hitting the road early, and I have to leave the hotel without any food available, I have my good bars, my raw bars, my vegan bars, and so forth, always in the travel bag and in my handbag wherever I go, so that I never need to make really bad, unhealthy choices that come out of cravings. Because when you crave, because your blood sugar is in the toilet, basically, that's when you have no control over what you're picking, and that is when you make the bad choices that you regret afterwards. But if you carry little things, pieces of fruit, snack bars, dried fruits, a handful of raw nuts in a pouch that you bring from home or that you get somewhere locally, then you will actually be able to manage these cravings. You can control it a little bit better. Now, wherever you go, hydration is key. In the US, we're very used to carry around our water bottles. That is not necessarily the case when you travel overseas. You're not necessarily able to find water everywhere, or water is not always freely available. So I love to carry a stainless steel water bottle with me. It is just about that size, so I can easily put it in my handbags, so I can just travel around with it wherever I go. And then, of course, when I have a good water source in a restaurant and so forth, I fill it back up, or in the grocery store. So carry around a water bottle no matter where you go. And hydration is key, but particularly when you travel to climates that your body isn't used to, when you're going from the dryness of Las Vegas, for example, to the humidity of a beach location, you still need to hydrate because you're going to be sweating more. So you need to fill in those electrolytes. So you maybe want to mix up a little bit of coconut water. Your bottle that you carry around can also carry your morning smoothie or your morning juice, but have that bottle with you. Be the obnoxious American who travels everywhere with a bottle. That's perfectly fine. Your health is more important in that case. And if you have a fun bottle, I have a bunch of really fun bottles with messages. People actually start conversations with me about that. Hey, another way of making new friends while traveling, right? Now, while we're talking about drinking water and traveling, I want to caution you on something. Do not drink the tap water. Now, that may seem like a no-brainer, but I'm going to tell you one thing. The tap water is hidden also in ice cubes and in mixed drinks. I have literally traveled around the world in many countries, lots in third world countries, etc., where you think it's common sense to not drink the tap water. But there's also other countries where you're not certain exactly what the water is like. So if in doubt, don't touch the tap water. Get your own bottled water, and if you get a bottle, make sure it's actually sealed, because there are cases where bottled water gets refilled with the dirty, filthy stuff from the tap. So you need to get bottles from a good, reputable source that are completely sealed, that you need to take the plastic off or whatever, unwrap to make sure they've not been tainted. You may have to use that bottled water even for toothbrushing. And I want to caution you particularly, because that's the thing where we usually trip up. I tripped up there once in Ethiopia and had a very, very bad experience from that. Nowadays it's a fun travel story, but trust me, it wasn't fun back then. So I had something like a vodka orange, and they put ice cubes in it, and I didn't realize that. So maybe your cocktail routine also will have to change a little bit when you are traveling overseas, because chances are you're getting mixed drinks with tap water ice cubes. So take your consciousness about the water a little bit further. So drink only things that come in bottles, or drink wine, or drink whatever juices, even juices. So be careful. No ice water, nothing mixed drinks that has ice cubes in it. So we're going to be a little bit extra careful there, right? Awesome. Now that brings me to the next thing. I always suggest to be a little lower on alcohol and on sweet drinks. And the reason for that is our body is by default a little bit more stressed when we travel, even if we are already high on adrenaline. So there's the good adrenaline, the good hormones that flood our body because we're excited, we're in a new place, it's a little bit thrilling, it's a little bit challenging, it's all the good adrenaline. However, there is a sort of stress on the body as well. It is a positive stress, But of course, there's a lot of unknowns. Sometimes you have immediately a cortisol flush because you get into a traffic situation that you're not expecting, or you get into a conversation that you can't make out what the person is telling you or whatever it is. So we are generally a little more stressed than usual when we travel, for the good or for the worse. So flooding your body with good liquids and less alcohol is better. And I'm not necessarily the very best student of my own teachings in that regard, and that is why I am telling you a nice next trick. Now, if you are indulging during your holiday, nothing wrong with that, obviously, every glass of alcohol that you're drinking, first of all, again, make sure it doesn't have ice cubes in a source, in a place where you're not certain about the water source. But every beverage that is alcoholic or sugar or rich needs to be also rotated or alternated with a glass of water, with some kind of water. So that way you get your hydration in, and that way you stay sober enough to enjoy. That way you're not going to be picked up by local law enforcement, because that can happen and it can become really embarrassing. So just check on these things. Even if you're not driving, it's better to stay low on the alcohol, because it creates acidity in your stomach. You know, your immune system is already a little bit activated because of the stressors around you. So, and that shuts your immune system down. I'll be a little bit careful about that. But here's my number one thing that I do. Because when I travel, I always take supplements as well. Because I know I don't have the access to all the beautiful things that I'm already eating. I personally have my Juice Plus, which is whole foods, fruits and vegetables in capsules. So usually we take one round of that only in the morning. But when traveling, I take it in the morning and at night before I go to sleep. Because I know that my body is already detoxing from whatever I put in during the day. So whatever you're using as a whole food supplement or any kind of little helper, I absolutely recommend that you have a probiotic with you. Grab a probiotic that can travel with you, so one that doesn't need to be refrigerated. You may want to consider enzymes as well, because you might be running into foods that are not necessarily something that your system is used to. So make your digestion a little bit easier. And you may also want to carry something that helps with diarrhea, just in case you are getting into foods that you're absolutely not used to, you know, or some that were a little overspiced, or even when you get a little bit of a food poison. That is particularly why you want to carry super high antioxidant supplements with you, because any kind of backlash that travel, resources, or foods and beverages could give you, if you have your super antioxidants in a pill form or powder form or whatever, probably capsules are good because they're easy to swallow, or little gummies or something like that, you can actually flood your body with the antidote. Because as soon as you're hitting vitamin C or great antioxidants of any nature, then you will be able to fight whatever is tickling your system. So go a little higher. Double up is my personal suggestion. Also, because you don't necessarily know what kind of sanitary situations you will find depending on the countries where you're traveling or the areas where you travel, just grab some hand sanitizers. I carry these things around. I know you can't really read this because we're in the mirror camera here, but I love Alba Botanica, but there's so many great brands out there. I have the 3-in-1 clean towelettes here, for example. They are removing makeup, they are toning, they're cleansing, and they're also disinfecting. So I carry these things around to have disinfected wipes and hand wipes and little sanitizers with me if I'm not completely certain where I am and how sanitary a place is. You may even want to carry your own soap. If you are a sucker for natural skincare products, which I am, there are really great small travel sizes like these. This is the Pure Castile soap. I think Maria has joined us a while back, so she knows what I'm talking about, because I think, Maria, you are using this. And these things you can always carry with you if you want to avoid the toxic shampoos and lotions and whatever in the various hotels. And that leads me to something really important. Now, even though you travel, you do not need to skip all your healthy favorite skin and body care products. because you don't know if you're going to be able to find them in your destination. So I have small, super small travel sizes of pretty much everything I love. First of all, there is my small sunscreen. Never go out without the sunscreen. That's another thing. Even if the sun in Las Vegas doesn't hurt you anymore, the sun in Mexico still will, or in Hawaii or somewhere else. Don't underestimate it. If you want to see a very funny movie, watch The Heartbreak Kid. The not so funny part about that is his wife catching a sunburn in Mexico. There's nothing funny about that. The sun in different countries, we tend to completely underestimate it because our system isn't used to the climate, and we must protect our skin at all times. So we're ahead, wear some headwear, but always put some cream on your face, even if you bronze easily, even if you have darker skin, because chances are you'll be out and about longer than you're anticipating, and you want to just be protected. Now, I carry a whole lot of tiny little containers, so every time I get something, I keep the containers, these things, and they are glass, the dark glass. So I'm putting in my favorite creams, moisturizers, night cream, smaller things for lotion, etc. This thing is for my apple cider vinegar. I carry that around as well because that's a beautiful antiseptic, antiviral, anti-whatsoever. And if you carry around a little bit of apple cider vinegar, then you also have a stomach ache remedy right away. Because in addition to essential oils, with which you can travel very easily, which I also recommend you to travel with, you want to probably have your little travel pharmacy, or shall we say home remediation pharmacy, such as a little bit of eucalyptus, and yes, a peppermint oil, a lavender oil, maybe a lemon oil, for all the little things that can happen. And if you don't have a good insect repellent, by the way, just get an oil that has citronella and lemongrass in it. I use something that is called purification, and carry that with you, because when the mosquitoes come at night, when you're sitting in your romantic place and have a glass of wine, you can be protected from these little bitey things as well. But back to the travel containers. Wherever you know, every time you buy something that comes in a small container, and I prefer glass, even if it's a little more heavy, I just don't like plastic things very much, then hang on to this thing, and when you travel, transfer your big pot, healthy skin cream, non-toxic skin cream into the small pot. And this pot right now, for example, holds coconut oil, pure coconut oil, because that is what I use to remove my makeup, no matter where I am, even at home. And others of the size can carry your day cream or night cream, and this thing will actually travel easily for 2 weeks. It will hold cream for 2 weeks. So when you just have a bunch of small containers, this is a tiny version of my favorite deodorant from Freedom, of course completely non-toxic here. If you carry around just with those couple little things, you can even travel with luggage you don't need to check. There is obviously a great advantage in that as well. So plan a little bit ahead. Make sure that you are that you know where you find your good things on destination, and just have a travel kit. I have this little bag which carries all my small containers, and that's always ready to go. So I really only have to transfer the other daily items, but I never need to miss my favorite healthy, non-toxic products when I travel, because I just simply don't know if I'm going to be finding those wherever I go. And then last but certainly not least for today, I want to share with you something that I find is super, super important when we travel, is to give yourself a digital detox as well. So what do I mean with that? Digital detox. Don't we all need it? Now here you travel, you go to this beautiful location, and you have beautiful scenery around you, you meet new people, and your head is in your phone. And even if we do that at home, for some reason or another, make it an absolute intention to get on a digital detox when you travel. I have a very big, I have a good intention, which I actually follow to the T, to use my phone only for photography and for GPS when I travel. And luckily, my service isn't carrying me all the way through with the other stuff internationally. But even if you do, make it a point to put the phone down and the little things, because you are going to be missing out. After all, there's a reason that we travel, right? Because if your head is down, you can't see what the reality around us really offers, the beauty of the scenery, those moments that are so much more precious. You are there to make real life memories. So enjoy these memories and travel safely, of course. Now, obviously, in those few minutes that we have every Monday, I can only share tidbits, and there's always a whole lot more that is valuable, that is useful. So if you have any good travel tip for us today, what you personally do, what you recommend to others to stay healthy while traveling, please share it with us. Share it in the comments, because I would really love to know, and so would everyone else like to know. Okay, so I hope that you found it useful and a little bit of helpful what we shared today. And of course, I wish you very, very wonderful travel times ahead. Stay safe, stay peaceful, stay calm and composed. But be happy and joyful. And I wish you a wonderful Christmas and holiday time. And I will be reporting back to you next Monday from my travel location. You're going to find out where that is once you're joining me. So happy holidays, everyone. We'll see you next Sunday. We'll see you next Monday on this channel. All the best. Take care.